سلام خدمت همه همراهان عزیز کانال اسرار تاریخی. با یکی دیگه از مجموعه ویدیوهای کم نظیر و نایاب دوران پهلوی در خدمت شما هستید. شما در این ویدیو گلچینی می‌بینید از سری مصاحبه های شاهنشاه با خبرنگاران و جوابهای دندان شکن ایشون به گستاخی اونها و صحبت‌هاشون درباره زندانی‌های سیاسی و تودهنی محکم ایشون در جواب به کسانی که میگفتن شاه ایران نوکر خارجی است که توسط همین رسانه‌ها سانسور شد که مردم ایران راجبش ندونن. بریم با همین صحبت‌ها رو بشنویم. قبل از اینکه بریم این ویدیو خیلی مهم رو ببینیم، اگر هنوز عضو کانال ما نیستید از پایین همین صفحه همین الان عضو کانال ما بشید و حتما زنگوله کانال رو بزنید تا اولین نفری باشید که از ویدیوهای ما باخبر میشید و ممنون میشم با لایک ویدیو و اشتراک گذاشتن نظراتون با ما و ارسال این ویدیو به دوستانتون هم ما رو حمایت کنید و هم دیگران رو آگاه کنید.
And sometimes the slight dilemma that some Western leaders feel about a very close relationship with your government, when there are some in America and in Britain too, who feel that your regime is undemocratic. How do you respond to that?
Well, I respond to that by saying that your regime are not more democratic than ours, because in the name of democracy you make things that we are horrified about it. There is no equality between people. There is more difference of standard of living and wealth between your people than our people.
Is that so?
Well, just look how many billionaires you have and how many poor people you have. Here, the wealth of the country, at least we are subsidizing 5 items of food. All the education is free. Throughout the university, we are even paying pocket money to the students.
Well, let me put it to you that Mr. Callahan doesn't work in an office like yours. How do you respond to that?
Mr. Callahan is the Prime Minister. I'm the King of Kings of a country which has 2,500 years of monarchy. But this cannot be also compared to Buckingham Palace. In the old days, you, British and others who had influence here, you could change the prime ministers as you wished. Are you sorry for that time that you have lost? Do you want the same thing? To manipulate our internal affairs? We won't let you. We don't make false promises in the elections, at least. What we say to our people is exactly what we can give them.
Your Majesty, in our newspapers now, in our country, there is a great deal of comment, and there are reports today about our CIA aiding friendly nations, giving them money. Does the CIA play any part in this country today?
Sure.
What?
Gathering information. We don't mind.
Do they, in any case, give this country money?
Money for what?
Because
if we don't give you money, you are not going to give us money. We are giving you a lot of money in buying your goods.
As you know, I have been across the Gulf that you call Persian and they call Arabian.
Why do you call it Gulf? You have been to school, or haven't you?
Yes.
What was the name that you have read during your school days?
Persian Gulf.
All right.
But they do call it Arabian Gulf.
Well, they can do many things.
It's true that when we started to defend our interests, the price of commodities also rocketed up by several 100%. But this cannot continue. If you increase, we increase. If we increase, you increase. We have got to find some solution for this. But if you just say, no, the price of oil must come down because we have decided so, this is not possible. You built your progress and your affluence at our expense. So you can't say that we increased the price of oil all of a sudden, because for 20 and some odd years, maybe 24 years, we have just been terribly exploited in a very mean way.
But weren't you a kind of partner to that exploitation when you signed the oil agreement of 1954, for instance?
Well, we had no choice. What else? We were starving, and we had to start doing something to build the country. We had no choice. They dictated to us, they decreased the posted price of oil when all the price of commodities in the world were on the increase. And they were telling us, well, take it or leave it, and we had to take it. Now things have been put right. You and the Americans are feeding the world with your wheat, and all of a sudden your wheat that was sold for $60 a few years ago, you sold it for $245 last year or the year before. So your question, I don't think, is fair.
What you're trying to say is that we are asking more for our commodities the same way that you are.
Yes, exactly. And why? I don't know why you think that you are superior. We won't be pushed around.
Is it perhaps that the Western countries are just not used to thinking of Iran as a major world power in any terms whatsoever, whether it's dealing about oil or whether it's talking about an army?
Maybe you're right. But they will have to cope with this development soon. That our country in the next 10 years will be what you are today. In the next 25 years, according to other people, I'm not saying that, will be among the 5 most prosperous countries of the world. When you become something like that, you start to act accordingly.
But may I put it this way? Many people watching you tonight, watching you talking to us now, many people in Britain, some of them cold, some of them quite poor, will be asking themselves what it is that you and certainly some of your Arab counterparts, sheikhs and rulers and governments, have against them. Are you, does it in any way serve your interests
well, why?
To make the British economy suffer?
Why against? First of all, it's not British economy. If you want to say anything, it should be the world economy. And this is not against, we're just defending our chips. Because for such a long time, we have just been, well, exploited, I can say that. And why don't you say that when the price of wheat was augmented by 300%, they had something against us? We had to buy it, or soybean, or steel products, or petrochemical products, which in some cases have augmented by 30 times. So did you have anything against us when you augmented those prices? Or what I buy from you, even weapons. The price that you are charging today is not what you were charging 2 months ago. It's increasing. Have you something against us?
And the huge sums of money piling up with the oil producers.
Well, it's new to you. It's new. How could these strange people living, it's not our case, but living on sand have such money? It's maybe a little shock at the beginning, but you are going to get used to it.
Candidly, Your Majesty, is there no element, not of revenge, because that is not a noble impulse, but at least some element of satisfaction in seeing the giants of the West in some disarray?
Well, no, because their disarray is, I think, needs a restructure of their society.
The brown-eyed peoples are teaching the blue-eyed peoples something, is that?
Well, no, we are not teaching something. The blue-eyed people have to wake up.
Wake up to?
From the complacency for this torpor in which they put themselves by taking maybe too many sleeping pills.
There are some of Your Majesty's critics who say there is a rigorous censorship in Iran. What would Your Majesty's opinion be to this?
Again, what kind of censorship? If there's the daily criticism against our shortages, our weaknesses, and this and that, it's even encouraged. If the criticism is directed against the foundation of the state and to weakening of the state and serving the interests of a foreign country, obviously we are not going to allow that. Why should we?
But freedom of opinion in any country and being able to criticize the existing organizations is a fundamental principle of democracy.
Mm-hmm.
And if Iran lays claim to democracy, then these principles should be honored.
Yes, within the limit of the law. But depends what kind of laws you have. Within the limit of existing laws, obviously. One of our laws is that communism is not allowed. It's banned, so you can't do it. And political prisoners, it happens to be that all of them are Marxists.
And what does that prove?
Marxism is outlawed in this country. It's illegal.
It's been said that there are some 20,000 political prisoners in Iran.
That's not true. We have about 3,000 and not more. Some people have even said that there are between 25,000 and 100,000 political prisoners.
You deny this?
Do I deny it? First of all, it's our business and not any of their business. But the truth, the reality is that we have not more than 3,000.
You're saying you do what every country does.
Sure.
If torture is necessary, you torture.
Not the torture in the old sense of torturing people, twisting their arms and doing this and that. But there are intelligent ways of questioning now.
Well, they talk about psychological and physical torture.
Physical, I don't believe.
I talk...
Not anymore. Maybe in the old days, maybe.
So the torture, fingernail pulling, people being toasted in wire mesh, which we were reading about in the English papers.
English papers. There is one paper, and I find this disgusting. And I don't really appreciate at all a serious organization like you repeating trash that you can see in one paper in one country. Why do you have even to repeat that?
It has, because it's been very widely reported, and the Sunday Times in Canada anyway is not considered to be a trashy paper.
That article was trash if you read it from the top to the bottom.
You categorically deny the allegations in the London Sunday Times.
Well, some of those, obviously some of those. It's ridiculous to say about that question of the bottle or raping the woman in front of her husband. This is disgusting.
Your Majesty, you...
Not that I accept the fingernails, the pulling of the fingernails, but the others are really disgusting. I don't like it at all.
Well, why do you need a SAVAK at all? Why do you need this secret police?
Why? Everybody has. Who hasn't got a secret police? If you tell me one country, one respectable country, but who hasn't got it?
Does Your Majesty think that the Islamic religion is a hindrance to your reform plans, or has it been in the past?
I don't think so. Not Islam. The priests, some of them, yes. But you can say that of all religions. All reformers in the world had to deal with the church, with the clergy. Starting from way back in Europe, before the Renaissance, and then you always had that clash between reform and church. But here we have not anything organized as the church. There are some isolated priests with whom I had to take some strong measures.
Would Your Majesty say that there is still opposition to you? Be it religious opposition, be it communistic opposition.
Communistic, very much, every day more. And a very, very funny thing developing now is what the Marxist organization, which has a label of Islamic Marxists.
مرسی که تا انتهای ویدیو همراه ما بودید و ممنون میشم نظرهای خودتون رو راجع به صحبت‌های شاهنشاه برامون کامنت کنید. اگر به تاریخ بدون سانسور علاقه دارید، همین الان عضو کانال ما بشید و زنگوله کانال رو بزنید تا ویدیوهای مهم بعدی رو به هیچ عنوان از دست ندید.